Episode 4? Episode 4, guys talking pies. We got a gal. This is Nicole Grey, Tom O'Neill, A&M Friendly Movers.
Pat DiCola, M Shop 360.
And
Nicole Grey, Grey & Co. Interiors.
we are here at the brand new, not open yet, undisclosed location temporarily of Grey & Company Interiors, right? So Nicole is interior designer.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So what we do every month, guys, we're going to talk some pies. We're going to talk some business. We have pies from, Nicole had it written down. Rocco's and...
Yeah, 517 Cameron Road. We've got 2 pies. We've got Jersey Shore pie and half plain, half pepperoni.
Phoenixville,
Pennsylvania, where the blog was recorded.
Yeah. That's right.
That's a big thing up here, isn't it?
Yes.
They
They run out of the Colonial Theater every July, I think, something like that.
Pat, you know all about that. That's your
sure.
thing. Yeah,
that's my era because I'm so old.
It's definitely not mine.
I knew the remake was really good.
Okay.
Kurt Russell scared the Jesus out of me when I was like 12 years old.
There was a remake?
I didn't know there was an original. Yeah. So which one was shot here? The remake or the original?
No, the original.
The original.
Okay.
Yeah. In the 50s, right?
Something like that. So tell us about your life story, your origin story before you became a superhero.
Yeah. Wow. You mean like go all the way back?
You can go back as far as you would like.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start with sort of how I ended up here. So when I was a kid, I lived in this little town in West Virginia. Don't tell many people that. And I was adopted, which we'll probably talk about another time, but lived in West Virginia all my childhood and, was very outdoorsy, but I love spending time inside, rearranging furniture, drawing floor plans, putting in the furniture, and I loved it.
So you're talking more than Barbie house.
Yeah, more than Barbie house. Yeah.
You're talking like grid paper, like.
Oh yeah, drawing, like taking the roof off, drawing the bird's eye view of all the rooms and putting in the furniture, and it was just a thing I loved to do. And then I started moving furniture around in my bedroom. I probably did it every few months. And then mom, I went to mom and said, I'd like to start moving around the living room furniture and stuff like that. So fast forward to now, living in Philly, didn't finish college. And so I started working, I was in the restaurant business for a while. And then I started working in real estate. So I got my real estate license and did real estate for a long time, probably like 9 years. Worked in new construction for a part of that. So sitting in the model home, helping buyers choose their floor plan, walking lots with them, all that stuff. And then I went into the business of owning a residential cleaning company that also did home organizing. So when I looked back at my life, all these different paths I took, I was always trying to get into people's homes. I wanted to be in the homes because I love to decorate and design. And I started asking my cleaning clients if I could help them with some rooms in their home because I just couldn't help myself, and mention things I thought could be done a little bit better. So it was the start of COVID. I was recovering from breast cancer, and it was sort of like a time in my life where I thought, I need to change what I'm doing. I'm not happy in the cleaning business, and I decided to take a leap and take classes online, and now here I am with this design showroom. So it's been a crazy 4 years, but it's been a lot of fun.
COVID has sparked a lot of businesses.
Yeah.
Well, we started COVID, yeah.
I feel like it was a point where people felt like, well, maybe we might die tomorrow, so maybe we'll do something we really want to do versus just what we have to do.
I mean, there was a lot of fear that was packed into the beginning of that. And you overcoming cancer at the same time, you just slid that one in on us there. I mean,
sorry.
That's all right. A little bit to unpack there. No, nothing to be sorry about. I mean, congratulations. I mean,
4 years.
You beat the cancer, that's good. I mean, beats the alternative, definitely.
Sure.
Yeah.
So wait, you got that. You've got the COVID, which we don't know anything about at that time, right? Because it's like, because I remember I was working in retail at that point, right? It's like, the early information was like, you could lose half your lung capacity, right? I had a 2-year-old at home, and I'm like, yep, there's no amount of money that's worth this. I remember just packing it in for like a month while everybody figured it out.
Wow,
I was fortunate enough to be able to do that. But like you said, I think it sparked a lot of business ideas, right?
It did.
So, I mean, for me specifically, it's what drove me towards labor. I don't know if I've ever talked about this before here, but so I was working in retail. I worked for Verizon. I sold cellular devices and accessories, among other things that I've sold over my life. I also sold cemetery plots and accessories at one point, but that's a different story. Whole different story. But at that time, I'm doing cellular devices and accessories. And through that process, the no contact stuff, and look, I'm not pro hang tag, none of that stuff, right? Look, we're just talking about my experience as I walked through this. I watched that company start to automate the sales process, right?
Sure.
Because with this whole no contact thing, now all of a sudden it's you're checking in on your phone, you're making your decisions on your phone, you're signing the contract on your phone. I'm telling you how to set it up, and I'm like, oh my God, my job's going to be obsolete in 10 years.
Right.
Many businesses have changed. Go try to buy a car now versus how you did in 2019. It's a completely different scenario. They're not that interested in keeping inventory on their lots anymore. So, and they're not interested in discounting anymore. So you order a car, you pay what it is, and it comes in.
That's right.
That's the new model for if you're a car dealer. You don't see any huge TV ads, any huge newspaper, not that there's newspaper anymore, display ads for cars anymore.
You still sell print advertising in that form, or?
Strangely enough, we do. There's always a place for something in your hand feasible.
Right.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, no.
Print is still very important.
We do a fair amount of print advertising still as well too. I mean, it's knowing where to find your customers, right? And that's always what it is. So walking through this and watching them automate it, I'm like 40 something years old, and I got a 2-year-old kid, and I'm like, do I want to change careers at 50, right? Because I didn't think there was going to change immediately. But I'm like, 10 years down the road, is it going to look the same, right? And I don't know that I would have done that job for much less than I was making there. It was pretty hateful. Retail is hateful. I think everybody should have to do it. You should have to work on the
retail.
Yeah, my origins in retail as well.
Yeah, you should have to work on the idiot end of a shovel, and you should have to work in retail. And I think it gives you a lot of respect for what other people have to do and go through on a daily basis. But I was making a good amount of money doing it, and I didn't want to have to change careers at 50 with a 12-year-old, right? Like, so just being able to kind of look ahead, and I'm looking, and I'm like, they're not going to be able to automate moving, right? Not in my lifetime. They'll be able to do it, I'm sure. But the residential part of it, I didn't think it was going to be automated at that point. So I wanted to move into something in labor. My business partner had given a shot. We had worked in moving companies 10 years prior with each other. And that's kind of how it came to pass for me, So I was driven into what I was doing out of the same scenario.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
That's good.
Yeah, same.
Speaking of how you get in front of your customers, how do you would say would be the biggest, if you had to lean on something that you said, this is where most of the good clients we've got have come from?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I've not done any paid advertising. My business initially, was just when I started the business, I being that I was in real estate for a long time, I went back to like all the realtors I knew and said what I was doing now. So luckily, initially I started getting calls from some of the realtors I knew who just simply needed me to go in and get a seller to like refresh their home and get it ready for market.
Stage.
Yes, yeah. So making recommendations on, layouts of spaces, what photos to take down, what colors to paint, maybe if it was too crazy. So initially I got business through realtors and then just word of mouth with friends. So I had a great friend who's over in Springfield give me the opportunity to design her entire home that she was buying she brought maybe 30% of her furniture, so I got to do the whole place. So that was a great experience for me. But it's mostly word of mouth. I do get a lot of business from Facebook. A lot of the community groups, as you guys are very familiar, a lot of people ask for recommendations.
Right.
And what's great about that is even though, I might see somebody recommend me and then I'll go on and, I actually send that person a personal message. Whereas a lot of people I see will just say, hey, yeah, feel free to reach out to me. They'll put their name and their number. But I just like to make it a little bit more personal, and I send them a personal message and say, hey, let's jump on the phone and have a conversation. And I would say 9 times out of 10, that person would write me back and say, yeah, let's jump on the phone. So, but Facebook has been a godsend for me as far as getting business. And people will go back, like if somebody sees it in the thread that somebody's looking for an interior designer, they might not be looking at that moment, but they know they can go back in and do a search.
Right.
And I've had people find me later and saying, oh, I think I saw somebody recommend you like 6 months ago.
I think the most, when that became a thing for me was when we needed like appliance repair. Because they don't really exist so much anymore. They want you to throw the appliances away.
That's right.
So I went to our local community page and I just did a search for appliance repair and something came up from like 2 years earlier. And I talked to him and he goes, man, people keep calling me. Like I advertised yesterday. And he goes, that post is 2 years old. He's like, I'm booked forever. I don't need to advertise. I want people to lose my number, if anything.
Yeah.
But it's amazing the power of how things on a platform like Facebook have become as much as a Google search. And fortunately, Facebook hasn't figured out a way to monetize that yet. And especially the community groups. They threatened for the longest time they're going to charge for the community groups. But we'll see. But I think it's not a lot of people tap into that. So I think it's you're on the cutting edge.
Yeah, thanks.
It's like the bulletin board at the library and the post office used to be, right? Or the church bulletin, I guess, right? If you're from Delaware County, from the parishes. Down in Delco.
Yeah.
Now,
The
you said
diner
Springfield.
placement.
Is that Springfield, Delaware County? Do you have
Yes.
an attachment to Delaware County?
I don't. I just have a really good friend that lives over there.
So interestingly enough, I think Tom and I are from the same area. We'll call it Delco.
Okay.
Probably a decade or so apart, maybe a little bit more.
Okay. What town?
This is the journey that everyone in Delaware County makes. They all, if they're Italian, they're all from Abruzzi. Then they come to West Philly or Overbrook Park.
Mm-hmm.
Then they make a little bit of money and they move to either Havertown, Springfield, or Broomall.
Mm-hmm.
Because naturally, it's a nice neighborhood and the neighbor's got a nice pool. That's why they move there. And then if they get any kind of money, they move to Westchester.
Interesting.
You can follow the progression from all.
Interesting.
But back to the Delco comment. So that everybody wears the Delco stuff. And I don't know. Tom and I are kind of share a brain in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
If people wore stuff that said Delco on it, back when we were younger, that led to an immediate ass kicking. There's no way they would have gone for anything like that. Like if you're truly from Delco, for someone wearing a Delco, it would have got smacked off your head.
You definitely weren't born there. You can't trying to.
So I think it's funny that there's all this Delco. I mean, great, someone's capitalized on it, and it's a cool thing. And now it's known throughout the world. I mean,
yeah, well, Philly fans brought that, right? So, I mean, it runs with the sports culture too. Right out of the shadow of the stadiums. But yeah.
Pica's Pizza.
Pica's, I love that
I grew up
place.
there, one up Rugged, never liked it. Didn't like store pizza. But as I got older now, I love it. You go to the one in Westchester and it's amazing. But
I don't know that I could go to the one in Westchester. I mean, I think I can only go, I could just Upper Darby, It's like Santucci's, right? Like there was a Santucci's at like Exton at one point. And I don't know that I could eat Santucci's pie if it wasn't in like Northeast Philly.
I saw a news article where somebody got stuck up outside the Upper Darby Pica's and they stole their pizza. Hold on. Give me the pizza. That's all they took. They take money, took the pizza.
Leave the gun,
It's like I got 2 little kids. I can't.
Leave the gun, take the pizza.
Wow.
Somehow. It could be a little less good.
That's all right. I was thinking about this on the ride up, right? So it's going to be, by the time Father's Day will pass by the time like this kind of went by. But I don't know, man. I was thinking about like how much. So it came to my attention this week. In the office, I had both my kids in the office on Saturday. My kids love coming to the office, right? So like they just love that we have a business and there's trucks and we have pallets of boxes, right, and they call it climbing the mountain, and they love to climb the mountain at the office, and they just go up and down the boxes, and
Wow.
my tiny children can touch 16-foot high ceilings.
Nice.
They're on the top of the mountain, and they just love it. And it's a little hectic this time of year with what we do. We're a little bit busy. Thank you to all of you guys out there because of that. And I got real stern. You know what I mean? Like there was just a lot going on. Like, sit down. I need you to be quiet. I'm harder on my kids than I am on the people that work for me.
Because your kids are going to go get. Because your kids are going to go get another job.
I hope they do.
They're going to quit on you.
They could contribute. That'd be great. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where that comes out of. I don't know why that is, or why my expectation. I don't know.
I think I'm the same way with mine. I mean, they're your flesh and blood, and you want to be sure they're on the right path.
I think the biggest fail is being too easy on your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I share a little guilt in that. I show a little responsibility. Adversity makes you better. I think you look at leaders of the world, the people that have done things, they usually wasn't handed to them.
Yeah.
The statistics of second, third generation businesses failing, like drop right off.
Yeah.
If third generation is usually royally screwed up.
Mm-hmm.
But someone who goes out and creates something themselves, it's probably out of necessity in most cases.
Right.
I don't think making it that easy, that you want to make things better for your kids, but do you, or you want them to be better?
So, because I spoil them everywhere else, I'm harder on them.
I think it's your guilt.
Is it subconscious?
It's your guilt.
I have that?